Farmer brought a jar he found in the field back home and accidentally discovered that the hoe he put inside turned into 2 hoes. The farmer was confused but didn't pay much attention. Suddenly, he noticed a strange sound when throwing things in. When he took it out, there were 2 more hoes. That's when he realized he had found a magical jar that could duplicate items. He then copied a pile of hoes and sold them cheaply at the market. People quickly bought all the hoes when they heard each was sold for only 1 tael of silver. Seeing the easy money, the farmer became greedier. He used the jar to duplicate the silver he earned into dozens of bags of gold. This was beyond anything he had ever dreamed of. He went from being seen as honest to someone blinded by wealth, spending every day copying gold. Soon, the farmer used the gold to buy a mansion, filling it with piles of gold and living a life of indulgence. One day, he heard a commotion outside. It was the landlord who sold him the land, demanding the jar back. The farmer rushed out, calling him a scoundrel. The landlord took the chance to slip between his legs, and the farmer chased him inside. The 2 ended up wrestling on the ground. The servants reported the fight to the authorities. Even in front of the magistrate, the 2 continued fighting over the jar. The magistrate, seeing 2 grown men fighting over something so trivial, asked for an explanation. The farmer explained he found a magical jar in the field that could double items endlessly. The landlord interrupted, saying he sold only the land, not the jar. The magistrate stopped them and curiously threw in a fan. It really turned into 2 fans. The nearby guards were stunned. To test it, the magistrate threw in 2 more fans, and 4 came out. He was now convinced it was a magical jar and started wanting it for himself. The magistrate asked the farmer if people passing through his land belonged to him as well. Hearing this, the landlord thought the magistrate would side with him. However, the magistrate asked him to prove the jar was his. In the end, both were charged with fraud and locked in prison. The magistrate brought the jar back to his room, planning to copy some family treasures. Just as he left, an old man mistook the jar for a chamber pot and tried to take it. The jar was too heavy, and he fell backward into it. Unaware, the magistrate took a jade toad from his treasure box, imagining he would no longer be a minor official. Suddenly, he saw 2 hands reaching out of the jar, shouting for help. Terrified, he smashed the treasure and pulled his father out of the jar. The magistrate held the broken jade toad sadly, while the old man asked if the item in his hand was a chamber pot. Just then, more cries for help came from the jar. The magistrate was hesitant but decided to help. To his shock, an identical father emerged from the jar. The 2 fathers immediately argued, each claiming the other was fake. The magistrate couldn't tell who was real. The argument escalated, and the 2 fell back into the jar. A group of identical fathers emerged, all claiming to be the magistrate's real father, nearly suffocating him. Helpless, the magistrate pushed his way outside and hid in the prison. The farmer and landlord mocked him for being so greedy. The magistrate admitted his mistake and smashed the jar on the floor in the main hall. A green mist rose, and the duplicated fathers turned into bubbles and disappeared, leaving only the real father. The magistrate ran forward, apologizing, and both learned their lesson.